What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this brand new 2021 Ford Mustang GT Premium. Huge shout out and thank you to Mooresville Ford for providing this new GT for today's video. Check out their link to their website in the description below. They have a huge selection of the 2021 Mustang lineup, so definitely check them out. And the GT we're looking at today is finished off in Carbonized Gray and has an MSRP at $45,000. Underneath the hood, the Mustang GT utilizes a naturally aspirated 5-liter 8-cylinder engine. This cranks out 460 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. The engine is paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission and sends the power to the rear wheels. And with a curb weight around 3,700 pounds and this drivetrain configuration, you can expect 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds with a top speed at 155 miles an hour. And then running on a 16-gallon fuel tank, you can expect to get 15 miles per gallon in the city with 24 out on the highway. The overall length is 188.5 inches with a wheelbase at 107.1. Width is 81.9 with height at 54.3 inches. We get the 3.15 ratio for the limited slip rear differential and a set of ventilated disc brakes in all 4 corners. We have 4 piston calipers up front and floating calipers in back. Looking at the styling now of this 2021 Mustang GT, this has an extremely aggressive front end design that is a classic Mustang look. You can see the LED headlights with blacked out housings. They also feature LED daytime running lights in that traditional 3-bar design. They have a really sporty look to them, and you can see the fog lights down below with amber turn signals. There's a functional cutout in the farthest side of the bumper to allow air to enter the bumper and pass through out around the front tires for added efficiency and aerodynamics. And we have a really large black chin spoiler up front to help with that aggression. There's an opening in the lower part of the bumper for more cooling, and then we get a gloss black grille surround with your Pony logo right in the center and a nice honeycomb design for the mesh. There's a lot of airflow to this massive engine for maximum cooling, and then more sharp lines flow to the hood. You can see 2 functional heat extraction vents in the center with a sharp line on the farthest sides, and the lines around the vents even fade away towards the windshield. The front end definitely ties in the whole character of a Mustang, and it flows to these front fenders with nice sharp lines around the wheels. And then moving to the side profile, we have a set of 18-inch wheels in all 4 corners. They're a split 5-spoke design with a 2-tone gloss black machined silver. They're wrapped in a Pirelli tire. And then along the side, you can see the 5.0 badge on the front fenders, as well as a sharp line above that going right through the door handles and door panels, and then a matching one in the lower portion. There's a matching side skirt to match that front splitter, and then we get a set of body-colored door handles and body-colored mirror caps with an integrated LED turn signal. There's more black trim around the roofline, and you can see a really sharp body line going around the rear fender arch to give it a wide rear end look. And the whole roofline slopes into the back, giving this Mustang that classic fastback design. And then moving to the back end of this Mustang, you can see a body-colored lip spoiler mounted on the top of the trunk. We get the GT logo right in the center with black trim all around it, and the traditional 3-bar LED taillights. They have a 3-dimensional design, and of course the sequential turn signal. The standard backup camera is right in the center, and then we have 4 parking sensors within this rear bumper. There's a massive black rear diffuser that matches that front splitter very well, and we get the reverse light in the center with aggressive fins on the left and right side, and then the dual quad-tipped exhaust. So there's a good look at the exterior and some of the specs on the 2021 Mustang GT. Comment below, what do you guys think of the look of this fastback muscle car? We now have Mustang's key fob, and this does have remote start. If I go ahead and lock the car, and then by just double tapping and holding the button down, that 5.0 roars to life. Fantastic sound. You can just hear it idle right now. That is definitely a good sounding car. And then by just tapping it, we can go ahead and shut that off. And then with the car lock, all I have to do is grab the door handle. It'll automatically unlock, and we can check out the interior. We get a black leather interior on this GT Premium that has a very nice design. There's white stitching and silver accents all throughout. If we go ahead and take a look at the door panel now, finished off in black, we have the black leather along this armrest with nice padding and really cool contrast stitching and even perforated leather in the center portion. We have your grab handle in front of that with all of your mirror controls and window controls, and then the release handle up top with memory seating, lock and unlock, then part of the audio system and a little bit of storage. We have Mustang on the door sill, and then moving inside, you can see the leather seating. We have power controls and lumbar support, as well as a manual recline. You can see the smooth leather and contrast stitching along these bolsters, then all the perforated leather right in the center with a really nice design to it. I think that looks super sporty and upscale. Nice bolsters, they're super aggressive as well as very comfortable. You can see all of the perforated leather going up the backrest and all the contrast stitching, as well as more stitching on the headrest. And then taking a look at the steering wheel now wrapped in black leather with aluminum trim. And then now inside the GT, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. This GT Premium also features the 12-inch LCD digital display. You can see this gauge cluster right here is completely configurable. Right now in this drive mode, we have your speedometer over on the right side with the tach over on the left, some vitals in the lower portion as well. The center screen right now you can control by using the toggles over on the right side of the steering wheel. If we go ahead and tap the pony logo on the steering wheel, I can go ahead and see a lot of different information. You can change your cluster appearance as well as the My Color. You have gauges that you can adjust. You can continue up to track apps. You have your options, lap timer, line lock, brake performance, and an acceleration timer, then a My Mode. And then we can tap the back button as well and get out of there. If I tap the navigation button now, it comes up on the screen with all the navigation information. You can scroll through all these different items and then just hitting the back button. One thing very cool, if we use the aluminum toggles down below and change the different driving modes by just toggling this up and down. Right now, as you can see, we're in the traditional view, but if I go ahead and toggle this up, you can see the drive mode over on the left side come up. We're now in the sport mode, which has a really cool design with the tachometer going all the way around. And then if I continue up now, we can go into the next mode for track. Gets a lot more aggressive looking, a massive tach with just your speed over on the right side. We also have more modes like a drag strip mode, which will utilize this same gauge configuration. Then we can go up to a snow mode, wet mode for inclement weather. So I really like the way this is all configured. Then if we take a look at the actual steering wheel now, we have the pony logo right in the center. We have a lot of the Bluetooth and audio controls over on the left with cruise control settings. And we even get a set of paddle shifters on the back side. They have a nice look and feel to them. Your high beam controls are on the left side of the stock, and then we have all your wiper blade controls on the right stock. To the left of the steering wheel now, we have all your actual headlight controls right there. And then down below that, we even have a little bit of storage that'll come out, which is super cool. We have the trunk button right there as well. Then a really nice design for the dashboard. There's leather going across it. We have the traditional design for a Mustang with these two separate bumps, and I really like the vent design right in the center. We have 3 air vents in the center as well, and then a really cool aluminum coloring going across the entire dashboard. If we take a look at the center screen now, this is touch screen. We have all your climate controls that come right up. Super easy to configure everything the way you would like. We also have your phone integration. Navigation can come up right on the center screen. We have an apps icon as well with a few different items. And then your settings logo right here for all of the things within the car. You can scroll over to see different things within the car. Then if I go ahead and put the vehicle into reverse, your backup camera will come up and you can see the different guidelines on it as well as the parking sensors over on the right. Then we can go ahead and put the vehicle back into park. We have physical buttons down here for all of the radio controls, on-off switch in the center, volume on the left, and tuning on the right. And we do even get some manual controls down here for all the climate, so you don't always have to rely on the screen. We have all the different zones right in the center with fan speed. We have a cool toggle right here to go up and down for your temperature, and it will come up on the screen as well when you're doing that. We have a set of heated and ventilated seats. You can just tap the icon and it changes everything. I really like how the LEDs change as well. And then along the bottom we have the start stop button, your hazard control, a toggle for your traction control. You can do this up and down to turn on and off. We have a steering mode as well. By just tapping this, you can go into the different drive modes for your steering wheel feel. And then like you already saw, the different driving modes right here by just toggling this up and down. There's a little bit of storage and a USB port. Then a good look at the shifter for the 10-speed. We have nice aluminum accents as well as leather and some stitching around the center. There's also a manual parking brake that you can easily lift up, and we get your 2 cup holders on the right side with more of the aluminum accents and then more stitching and leather for this armrest. We can open it up with the side button, and we have quite a lot of space in here with a USB port and a 12-volt. And then to take a look at the glove box now, by just pressing that button, this shelf opens up to reveal a ton of space in here. And if we go ahead and close that, taking one last look at the Mustang GT, very classic design for a Mustang. I love all the aluminum accents. Those toggles are super cool, and then all the leather and stitching really gives this GT Premium a nice upscale feeling. Then if we make our way to the ceiling, it's finished off in black, and we'll get your dome lights up front and garage door openers on the visor. The Mustang is also a 4-seater, and by just grabbing the handle on the backs of these front seats, we can move that out of the way for a little bit better access to get into the back. Then I can go ahead and slide this forwards. We have the same seating back here with all the perforated leather and smooth leather with all the contrast stitching, and you can see how these rear seats are actually buckets. They have a really nice performance-oriented design to them. And then hopping into the back now of the Mustang, while it's a 4-seater, of course this isn't a family SUV or sedan, but I am sitting back here at 5'11". My head is a little crooked, as you can see, with the driver's seat a little bit farther forward than the way I would be sitting in it. I do have quite a few inches of knee room, so even if I had the seat back to where it should be, you can actually fit grown adults back here while driving. So sitting back here, the seats are actually very comfortable, and we get a nice little armrest over on this left side, and then a good look out of all the glass. And then to take a look at the trunk space, you can double tap the button on the key fob, use the one on the interior, or there is one actually on the rear bumper. This lifts nice and up. We have quite a lot of space in here, even though this is just a 2-door car. Very nice and large for larger items, for any type of thing like that. Definitely super usable. And then with the seats folded down now, you can see just how much more storage space we have in the back of the Mustang. And then entering through this side, you can see how they also fold nice and flat. And we have a pretty large opening going into the trunk. So the coupe Mustang is definitely very practical. All right guys, so we are setting off now in the 2021 5.0 Mustang GT. Already that V8 sounds so good. I think Mustang is probably one of the best sounding V8s. Comment below, what do you guys think? Who makes the best sounding V8? Because this thing definitely has a good sound to it. We're just normal mode, cruising like a basic car. So like I said, we're in normal mode, automatic, everything like that. Just the most conservative driving mode that this car has to offer. Getting my bearings with this vehicle right now, this is really comfortable. The leather seats I think is a great option, especially being the GT Premium. I think you really want to get the leather. It just feels really nice. I like the look of it. The fit and finish is good too. And then as far as the armrest, just sitting in the vehicle, this is a pleasant car to be in, even just for daily driving, going to work and back. You can drive this like a normal Grand Touring car, just racking up some miles. Road noise, wind noise, things like that. The only thing you hear is a little bit of a rumble of the exhaust, but there's no annoying drone or anything like that. But you definitely hear, you know you're in a 5.0 Mustang for sure. As far as the visibility goes, we have a pretty large windshield. You can even see a little bit of the contours within the hood, which I think adds to the aggressive design. I love the design of the dashboard too. It definitely gives it that classic Mustang look. As far as the visibility, looking over your shoulders and using all of the mirrors are pretty small on this left and right side, but with the blind spot alert and of course having them adjusted properly, you can still see behind you pretty well. And then visibility over your shoulders, you actually can see pretty well over your left shoulder. That window is the perfect size, and the seat pillar is pretty small as well. Even though we have the sloping rear end, it's pretty usable. And then as we talk about the center gauges, the 12-inch LCD display that's configurable is so cool looking. In the basic mode right now, you wouldn't even think that it is an LCD screen. But then if we go ahead and toggle it up to more fun modes, the sport mode, it definitely gets really cool looking. Semi-traditional with the analog speedometer on the right, but then the tach looks pretty cool. But then when we go all the way up into the track mode now, that's when it really livens up and adds that track focused ability. Traction control turned off, and if you are on the racetrack with this, you can easily see your gear, your speed, and your tach. Nothing else, no more distractions. Super nice to see that. And then as far as the other drive modes, we will put this down into the sport mode, and by just tapping the paddle shifter, it comes up on the gauges, letting me know that I am in gear now, using the paddle shifter to shift the car. But I really like how configurable that screen is. It definitely looks nice. So we have a 10-speed automatic transmission. The exhaust sounds so meaty. Of course, you can get an active exhaust in this car. Wow. Transmission is lightning quick. I love how quick it is. It seems like every time you hit the paddle shifter, it almost just starts accelerating even more. That is a cool feeling to it. And of course, if you are driving this in a performance setting, you're not going to really be using 7, 8, and 9, and 10 for all the gears. That is a lot of gears to actually use out on the track. So you don't really even need to worry about those gears up top when you are playing with the car. But I love how you can really feel the power just build and build. And with the seamless shifting with the 10-speed, if you're drag racing this car, this is the transmission to get. This one is super quick as far as the shift times. A manual transmission is available in the Mustang, which is fantastic, and it's a really fun transmission. But if you are all about the straight line power, the automatic is the way to go. As soon as you hit the paddle, we're already into the next gear, and that sound is just mesmerizing. I love it. And then coming into a sharper turn, few downshifts, harder on the brakes, 90-degree turn now. effortlessly, gets right up to speed, and those brakes do a good job. They're not even the Brembos, but they bite pretty hard. This car is pretty well equipped, even for not being a performance spec, so you can definitely at least just get more of a basic Mustang, get the bigger engine in it, get the nice interior, and you still have a ton of fun in the car. Even higher speed, a few downshifts. It sounds so good. Higher speeds, it carries itself really nicely. And this is just a good blend of everything. You can't really go wrong with a Mustang. When you do compare this with a Camaro or the Challenger, this car is kind of right in the middle. The Camaro is a little bit more aggressive on the inside, not as practical, and maybe a little bit better out on the track, depending on which spec you get. The Challenger is a pretty good drag car and has so much room inside. The Mustang is a good blend of all that. It's really comfortable inside, usable, great on the track, great for cruising. If you kind of want the best of both worlds, the Mustang is the way to go, and I think it really does give you the best of both worlds. It's comfortable and smooth to drive. You have so many different configurations to get one that is very performance oriented or really tame and kind of toned down to be a good daily driver. So then back into the parking lot. Steering is nice and heavy in the track mode as well. If we tone that down a little bit and go into the comfort steering, it gets super lightweight and the car just really dials down to be a good daily. Super easy to turn this. Getting back up to some speed. Not have fun in a 5.0 Mustang. The V8, in my opinion, is definitely the way to go. And this one definitely has a lot of good things to offer. We'll tone the car back down into the normal mode now. And then going just back into drive, the car will do all the shifting for me. And the car tones down. Now we're using 9th and 10th gear. And the RPMs drop a lot to where it's just a smooth, comfortable car once again. So I think that is then it for the 2021 Ford Mustang GT Premium. This one is a super cool spec, nice and luxurious, but you still have the crazy punch of the V8 engine. Huge shout out and thank you once again to Mooresville Ford for providing this GT for today's video. Check out the link to their website in the description below. They have a huge selection of the 2021 Ford lineup, so definitely check them out. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next video.